Don't let tomorrow's solutions get stuck on today's obstacles. Help move what matters at Iowa State. Iowa State students have big ideas.
My name is Cam Schaefer. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Spock's Sanctuary, which is a exotic companion animal rescue, and we provide other services in education and nutrition.
And it all started with a little help from cyclones like you.
All right, what's up, guys? Connor Ferguson here for Cyclone Fanatic for the post-game show after Iowa State BYU. Let me know in the comments how the audio sounds. I'm going to talk as loud as I can. I had a cord go out on me today. So hopefully you can hear me. Let me know just how good I can make it. I'll try to talk as loud as possible. But, man, what a game to get to talk about. 68-63 win over BYU. Fantastic. Sounds good. Awesome. Sorry about the pregame show. I had to play with some settings on the audio stuff, but as long as you guys can hear me, we're good. We're in good for it. So, but no, 12-point comeback. BYU really took off on Iowa State for a period of that game. There's a first half stretch where I think they went 6 of 8 from the 3-point line. They started 0 of 5. That was the crazy part, especially watching them, take that into account, but it's a tough matchup in the first place. You guys saw how well BYU was able to exploit Iowa State's defense. They would take a double team and they'd find an open guy and they'd kick out to another one. They'd find a three that they wanted to shoot. The big kicker for Iowa State was when they started really getting after him on defense. And I know it's thanks. Jackson just texted me. I love you, Connor. Love that kid. You guys are going to love him. He's our intern. He does all the scouting report pieces. So give those a read when you get a chance. But I thought Iowa State kind of throughout that game in the second half, the defense continued to improve slowly, and they got more and more pressure, and it finally started to affect how BYU was passing, how BYU was shooting, and I thought that was a real big key to the game. BYU 7 for 30 in the second half, just couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, and it forced a lot of errors. I can't remember the player who it was, but he dribbled the ball off the side of his leg real late in the game there. That walk on 45, that came back to bite them. But late turnovers like that and those mistakes, I think they threw the ball out of bounds. They were trying to get a kick-out three again, and it went off the top of the dude's hands. So they forced BYU into plenty of mistakes, and that was a major key in coming back in this one. I saw a lot of people saying this game's over and all that normal stuff, obviously. I've watched a 20-point comeback in this building. No game is over at Hilton Coliseum, and you guys got to see a real heavy dose of Hilton Magic tonight. I'll spotlight a couple of players. You guys can sound off, ask questions wherever you're at. I'll answer whatever you got. Real quick fun thing. I don't know how much you guys pay attention to John Rothstein's tweets. He very rarely tweets about Iowa State, and I know it pisses off a lot of people, a large contingent of Cyclone fans. He tweeted about Iowa State tonight, so take that win how you will. TJ for Coach of the Year. Yeah, I mean, you can argue for the guy who beats him in the standings, I suppose, and Kelvin Sampson, but I'd give him the Coach of the Year award. I don't know. I'm not giving out the awards. My beef with awards is the players and coaches that get them certainly deserve them, usually. But it quickly turns into who was left off the list type of thing and who got on the list that should be kicked off. And I don't like all that discourse. I think they're great. We'll see what the Big 12 awards come out looking like. But undefeated at home, really damn hard to do. They haven't done it since 2000, 2001, I believe, was the season. And you finally see it here. You know, however many years I've been watching Iowa State basketball, and you always hear about Hilton Magic, but you've never seen them go undefeated. So really, really cool atmosphere here and a massive win. That's the other thing is I was again surprised at the atmosphere. I don't know how. I come to this building I'm here every game, and you guys still one up what you've done in the past almost every time. This felt very early on. The crowd was jacked up. It took one bad call, and everybody's pissed off. So I love it. Connor, are you enjoying CF? Hey, I appreciate your comment, Den. Thank you so much. I love it here. This is the best job in the world, and I get to work with the best people in the world. So I'm just glad you guys can hear me. You guys were going off in the comments on the audio earlier, so I'm glad we fixed all that. Taman Lipsy tonight. There's 3 different sequences in the second half where he forced the turnover on one end, comes down, either hits a 3 or takes the ball to the rim and gets a shot to go. He just took the game under his control again. I mean, we've ran out of good things to say about Taman Lipsy, but man, I mean, that's one of the best games any of these players are going to have all season. So I thought that was a really inspiring performance. Little nugget, and I don't usually tweet analysis of the timeout meetings, right? But TJ, I've only been able to hear TJ from up here where I sit one time all season. It was in a non-conference game. It was the New Hampshire game, I think, when they were up by 8 and they called a timeout or something, and TJ's just yelling his ass off, getting real into everybody. I could hear TJ, I believe they were down by 8. It was the first timeout TJ called. And he's getting into everybody, telling them what they need to do, I couldn't make out what he was saying. I think rebounding may have come up. But he was into it tonight. So that was really cool, really unique to see. I know Noya Sindersitis, we talked to him for a couple minutes. That's on our YouTube feed. He's a 2024 commit that was at the game tonight. He's at Brewster Academy right now. Really stout recruit coming in for Iowa State's class. Otherwise, Rob Jones, I thought, could that guy catch any more bad breaks when the ball went right off his hands to a rebound and goes out of bounds? Very thankful for Rob and the Rob doubters out there that did not cost Iowa State. That didn't cost Iowa State any points. Ryan wants to know my pick for the NASCAR race. I think I'll get fired if I say that on here. It's okay. I'll post something sometime. But what else do I got here? Did think in the second half, Iowa State came out pretty similarly offensively. In that first time out, they really changed kind of their approach to stuff in where they were being aggressive on defense. I thought they threw less double teams early in possessions and started kind of feeling them out, and eventually they forced BYU into a timeout on that trap, and all of a sudden Hilton's jacked up again, and they kind of rode that momentum throughout the half, and you had to have BYU cool off, especially from the three-point line, if you're going to get back into the game. Tyler, what's your problem with IndyCar, man? What's your problem with that? I try to be we're a non-biased hat, but I got a CF hat on the way from Chris, so Big Rob, epitome of a cyclone. That's good. That's good stuff from Bard Music on YouTube. The refs tonight were crazy insane. That was equally as part of the atmosphere, I think. Basically, some inconsistencies, I would say. I know anyone at Hilton is going to just say they should call it everything against BYU. But that really helped with the atmosphere. That got the crowd into this game. Rob Jones getting the standing O from his friends and family. But no, the tough calls that kind of went against Iowa State, they kind of started slowing down in the second half. It looked like they kind of started flipping. If you're saying they're calling it one way or the other, I don't believe that happens. But they totally, again, like Chris says on here every week, the second half, they start picking up on foul calls, trying to clean the game up a little bit. And I thought for a bit Iowa State was drawing them. Iowa State was getting a lot more, and they had only one player, was Curtis Jones, that had 2 fouls. Everyone else had 1 or less with about 11 minutes to go in the second half. And don't turn my – I got you, Zach. But, yeah, with up to about the 11-minute mark, and obviously that real bad sequence where I believe – Iowa State got called on one end, and then Taman went up and just got bodied on the other side, and then we went to a media timeout. I felt bad about that, but really inspiring game for Iowa State to keep themselves in it and hang in there and ride that momentum out to the win. Yeah, and all these comments are talking about Lipsy. I heard on TV there's a guy right next to the microphone that was getting loud tonight. Shout out to that dude. I appreciated reading about that. So, let's see. Down 14 with less than 15 minutes left. So it was 15. I thought it only got up to 12. That's still, massive comeback. Really cool atmosphere all night long. Really enjoyed watching that one. I'm going to head out. I got to get to the post-game show. I got to see what post-game show. I got to get to press conferences, see what TJ has to say. We'll have it all for you on the Cyclone Fanatic YouTube, just like every game, and we're going to have all these post-game and pre-game shows throughout the men's and women's tournaments. So that begins, obviously, Saturday morning in Kansas City. So I'll be with you the whole way in KC for the women. Rob and Chris are going to be there for the men. Thank you guys for tuning into this one. I appreciate all the comments and the compliments that did get commented too. So also, Carl Auto Group, ISU Foundation, thanks to you guys. They are the presenting sponsors of this show. Appreciate you all for tuning in, and we will see you the rest of the way. Love you guys.